morning, good afternoon, good evening, good luck sleeping. You're watching PNT. I'm your host, Quilted for Softness. Up front this week, according to an article published by KnotsTV.com, a neighborhood in Nottinghamshire, UK, held a birthday party complete with cake for a pothole that they've been trying to get the county council to repair for over 2 years. According to local residents, the hole first appeared on Main Road in Plumtree at least around March of 2015. Villagers reported the hole to Nottinghamshire County Council, but the hole was never repaired and has grown ever larger and deeper. Fed up with the council's inaction, locals decided to mark the birthday of the local eyesore with a special cake baked for the occasion, which I find brilliantly appropriate. Local officials stated that they were planning on doing some repair work within the next fortnight, or 2 weeks for our American viewers, but did not discuss the Nottinghamshire hole specifically. When asked for a statement, the grateful hole thanked the residents for their welcoming natures and the delicious pastry, but declined to further comment on the situation. In what is either an arachnophobe's nightmare or an arachnologist's dream, residents of Papamoa, New Zealand have discovered a massive series of spiderwebs covering the grass of the Gordon Spratt Preserve. Visitors to the park filmed their encounter with the gigantic web and the thousands of tiny spiders inhabiting it. In a behavior that scientists describe as ballooning, the thousands of tiny spiders were driven to spin the huge structure due to flooding in the local area. And now, faithful viewers, feel free to scratch at the hundreds of imaginary spiders crawling all over your skin. I'll wait. Last in our weekly roundup of the weird, McDonald's has announced that it might be willing to bend to pressure from the smartest man in the universe and re-release its Szechuan McNugget dipping sauce. Public attention was reignited in the sauce by the Season 3 premiere of the animated cartoon Rick and Morty, and staff at McDonald's shared their apparent willingness to bring back the tasty sauce, which premiered as a commercial tie-in for the release of Disney's Mulan.
Where are we going?
To the day it all began and ended, the moment that changed everything.
Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?
Yeah, I'd like to get a 10-piece McNugget and a bunch of the Szechuan sauce, like as much as you're allowed to give me. In 1998, they had this promotion for the Disney film Mulan, where they created a new sauce for the McNuggets called Szechuan sauce, and it's delicious. And then they got rid of it, and now it's gone. This is the only place we're gonna be able to try it. Is in my memory.
Rick, you're doing this bit while your brain is melting.
Okay, all right.
Depending upon your age, you will either remember Mulan as a beloved childhood film about women's empowerment in medieval China, or as an Eisner-era vehicle for the failing career of Eddie Murphy. And now, faithful viewers, grab your night vision goggles, DVR and K2 meters, because this week, PNT takes you into the darkness just down the road on the top 3 haunted highways. Number 1. Clinton Road, Passaic County, New Jersey. Located in the heart of Passaic County, New Jersey, Clinton Road and the land surrounding it abound with tales of paranormal happenings ranging from witches, strange creatures, and ghosts. While much of the atmosphere surrounding the forested area is lent from myth and legend, there is chilling truth to lend fact to the cold atmosphere as well. The area has been used by at least one professional killer to dispose of his unfortunate victims. Clinton Road itself is a narrow, 2-lane stretch of asphalt that runs through the heavily forested region and is not a part of New Jersey's official county route system. Clinton Road itself was named after the now vanished settlement of Clinton, which was located roughly where the road crosses a local brook. It is this brook, and the bridge that crosses it at this point, that has long been the focus of a local legend, that of the ghost boy on the bridge. According to the legend, the spirit of a small boy who had died in the brook will come calling if you're brave enough to place a quarter in the exact center of the bridge at midnight. Details as to the cause of the child's death vary from a swimming accident to being pitched over the side of the bridge by a careless motorist, but they all agree that he drowned and that his spirit still haunts the spot. Some say that the boy offers a warning, and some that he attempts to push his summoners over the edge of the bridge in order to join him in the dark, cold waters below. Anyone for a swim? The boy is not the only restless spirit to haunt the stretches of Clinton Road, however. Reports of a ghostly Camaro driven by a girl who perished in 1988 after wrecking the car are enough to send shivers down the spines of motorists along the stretch. Just be sure not to mention it out loud while you're driving, for this is what apparently triggers manifestations of the haunting. The area has also had its share of mysterious creatures reported. Malicious monkeys, hellhounds, and other cryptids have allegedly been seen, possible escapee survivors of the now-defunct jungle habitat, which closed in 1976. But whether it is ghostly boys playing at Billy Goat's Gruff, phantom vehicles, strange lights, or animals, PNT has to agree with Lieutenant Gene Chisosi when he stated that it's a long, desolate stretch and it makes the imagination go nuts. Number 2. Belchen Tunnel, Switzerland. Opened in 1966, the Belchen Tunnel forms part of the A2 motorway system linking Basel to Chiasso and is some 10,430 feet long. It is not a feat of engineering that makes this tunnel famous, however, but something far more odd and perhaps ominous. Towards the end of 1980, reports began to emerge from motorists of an elderly woman, clothed in white, who would hitchhike a ride. Other than her monochromatic wardrobe, there seemed to be nothing out of the ordinary about the woman. She would sit quietly, and when asked if she was all right, she was known to reply, "No, unfortunately I am not well at all. Something really awful is going to happen. Something very dreadful." The woman would then inexplicably vanish from the back seat of the car, leaving the drivers and passengers profoundly upset and puzzled. In January of 1981, the reports increased, with local Basel police receiving and logging dozens of reports of the hitchhiking ghost. Other variations of the ghost stated that she would sometimes appear directly in front of the path of the car from nowhere, startling drivers who might be speeding into slowing down. Whether simply striving in death to reach the destination she could not in life, or whether now serving as a warden of sorts for public safety, there can be no doubt that for a brief period of time in late 1980 and early 1981, drivers in Switzerland were best advised to keep an open seat and an open mind. Number 3. The Green Man Tunnel. For the final spot on our paranormal panorama, we turn to western Pennsylvania, where the legend of the Green Man and the tunnel he haunted has chilled the spines of locals for decades. Near the edge of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, there's an old neglected railroad tunnel covered in graffiti and filled with road salt and gravel. Built in 1924 as the Piney Fork Tunnel to service coal mines along Pennsylvania Railroad's Peters Creek branch, the tunnel has long been a local fixture. Abandoned since 1962, the locals have given it another nickname, the Green Man Tunnel. Teenagers used to drive into the tunnel, turn off their lights, and call out to the Green Man who would appear from the darkness, his skin tinged green from a tragic electrical accident. If he touched your car, his electrical charge would either stall the vehicle or make it difficult to start. The legend says that the Green Man, once an employee of a local power company, was horribly disfigured in a tragic accident that melted his face and turned his skin a deep green hue. For years, locals would report sightings of the glowing ghost of the Green Man walking down the roads at night, only to disappear into the dark recesses of the tunnel. Some told tales of a hideous man with no face, a zombie that prowled the neighborhoods after dark, frightening all who crossed his path. Perhaps the most compelling thing about the legend of the Green Man is that, unlike so many other myths, this one is entirely true. The Green Man did exist, but not as a shambling zombie or electrified spirit. The Green Man was in fact Raymond Robinson, though to those along Pennsylvania's Route 315, he was better known as Charlie No-Face. Compelling myths aside, the real story behind Raymond's injuries is just as shocking. In 1918, when Raymond was merely a boy, he was climbing one day on a local trestle bridge when he accidentally became snagged on a live power line. Containing well over 22,000 volts, the line sent electricity coursing through the young boy, literally setting fire to his hair and melting his face into a formless mass. As a result of the accident, the young boy lost both eyes, his nose, one ear, and his right arm. Healing in isolation, Raymond was quick to discover the cruelty of his fellow citizens. Nicknames like the Zombie pushed him even further from society and others. His only real solace came in the long walks he would take down State Route 351 in the dead of night. Mindful of frightening the public, and with darkness meaning little to the blind, Raymond continued his nocturnal ramblings, inadvertently helping to build his own legend. By the end of the 1960s, the legend of Charlie No-Face in the Green Tunnel and his nighttime sightings along State Route 351 had spread, and was causing traffic jams in the area as cars full of hopeful teenagers sought to have a sighting of their own. Those who did catch sight of the ghost found not a spirit, but a simple man who only wanted to be left to himself. The opportunistic Robinson was not above posing for pictures of those who found him, charging a few dollars, a beer or a pack of cigarettes for the interruptions to his nighttime routine. Raymond Robinson continued taking his nighttime strolls until his death in 1985. By the mid-1990s, the man had mainly been forgotten, but the story of the Green Man and his tunnel remains one of Pennsylvania's most widely known legends. To this day, carloads of teenagers still pull up to the old bridge, flash their headlights, and call out for Charlie No-Face to touch their cars. Some claim that he has. So why would we at PNT present you with a final story that is, in truth, not paranormal? Because it illustrates a fundamental principle that we here at PNT feel is important to our coverage: recognition of the role that we, as observers, play in the paranormal. In the case of Raymond Robinson, the legend that he unwittingly helped to create became larger than the man himself, larger than the facts. As we have seen all too often on the public stage of late, knowing what is an actual fact and what is merely supposition is becoming increasingly more pertinent. To be truly objective observers, we must all learn to temper our enthusiasm with logic, and our logic with enthusiasm. The truth, as always, will be found somewhere in between. We thank you for watching PNT and ask that you click like, share, and subscribe below. I'm your host, reminding you to keep an open mind, because a closed one shuts out the truth.